So, just I guess like this is the GM Fiat portion, but since we're starting near an adventure, a starting town, is that how it goes? Like, the town is actually a place known as Worm's Fist. And what's interesting about this place is that it is a derelict ship that is built along the sides of what looks like this marshland territory that you are nearby that leads out into the Anger Bay. The ship itself looks like a very old warship that has been, I don't want to say hollowed out, but definitely looks like it is not seaworthy of any time soon. Is there a way I can show you the token?
Also, the ship was built derelict here?
No, it looks like it kind of just hit ashore and has been here for who knows how long. The locals say that the ship was one of the few casualties during the initial wave of the Blood Mist, but that was centuries ago. And everybody more or less has been hiding under the ship in the decks ever since, everybody who was still alive. It's only been within the past 10 or so years that the ship has kind of turned into a multi-leveled town in this region. It's one of the few areas that's actually safe within what's called the Bellish Marshes, which is directly south of you. This is also an area that does get cold pretty easily because you are close to the farther mountains near where the Still Mist is. So you know, there's a lot of icy winds and things like that, where the bay itself kind of freezes over into small little fjords and things like that there as well. So the ship is pretty much the only place where folks have been able to survive long term. Surrounding it are a couple smaller farmsteads and things like that, little hut houses. But there's really not much outside of those. It seems like inside the ship itself, they've turned it into a multi-layered deck of residents, shops, bars, and things like that.
Oh, sounds like a happening place.
It is 4 layers. I'm actually trying to get a good picture of it. I don't really have a good picture, unfortunately. Does that work?
What happened? Oh, there we go.
I didn't see anything.
In the chat.
Yeah, I see it now. Cool.
Yeah, that's the one I was basing it off of. There's 4 layers to it. The upper deck is mostly an open air market. A high demand for anybody who is skilled in carpentry. If you actually offer those skills, the rumor is that they'll let anybody aboard and give them lodging so long as they do the job every day.
Like a residency.
Kinda.
Well, that's probably not me. 'Cause I don't have carpentry.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess the 3 of you have been traveling for some time along the riverway, the Mellowater, let's say, coming from the west. You've heard rumors of Worm's Fist, and you are now in front of where the ship is. It is aground. It is on the edge of the the marshlands around here. As I said, there's like a couple of huts here or there that you see. And you see some activity on the deck, but that's about it. What do you do?
Well, if you boys have nothing pressing, I have some shopping to do.
Hey, I do too. Let's take care of this business.
Yeah, I would like to search for a merchant that is selling lamp oil. I think that's the first thing I'd like to buy.
That's actually pretty easy to get. There is a couple of shops, mostly in the, as I said, open air. In particular, there's one fella that you see, like a human, like salt and pepper hair at this point, looks pretty like grizzled, who sells mostly trade and general goods, and he does have lamp oil.
Oh, there. I will take a couple flasks of your finest lamp oil, please.
Finest? It's a little watered down. We got 3 flasks for you. What are you willing to pay?
Well, no more than the going price, I believe, was 2 coppers.
I'm looking up prices. Hold on.
Oh, that's fine. I think I'm not trying to pull your chain. I think it actually is 2 coppers in the book. But yes, she's a shrewd negotiator.
Unfortunately, I was literally on that page a second ago, and then I changed.
Yeah, I found it. Lamp oil, 2 coppers. You are good.
Right. In fact, maybe she'll be like, "Oh, but you could find it for a copper up in buffering. The Melwater area, along the Melwater River, where I do most of me trade."
There's people out in Melwater now? Usually, this was the only site we knew of for a long time. I guess that explains why folks are trying to leave lately. You said a copper over there?
Aye, indeed, and they don't water theirs down.
You're trying to convince him, basically?
I guess so. Yeah, maybe I'm trying to charm him. I'll use my flattery on him.
You have a skill for that, or is it ability?
Let's see.
Like, what's your I think there's like a specific ability that allows you to do that with a bonus, right?
Probably, and I don't have it.
Right.
I would guess, though, it would be empathy, perhaps manipulation, if anything, to try to get the price down.
I would agree with that. Go give it a shot.
All right, first roll of the new campaign. Skidoo! Oh, right. 2 successes, 1 failure.
Well, I mean, that's perfectly fine. The successes is all you need. He looks at you and he says, "Well, all right. I'll tell you what. 3 coppers total for the 3 flasks. I'm not going to be losing too much. No one usually buys these anymore anyway. We got plenty of oil that we use for the regular lamps."
Well, aren't you a gentleman? And she'll give, like, a little curtsy and snatch those up and ask him then, have you anything else around here of particular interest? Anything might be useful to a young lass who finds herself on adventures from time to time?
He kind of laughs, almost like lecherously.
Ooh.
He says, "Young lass, huh?
Why? How old do you think I am?
Do you really want me to answer that question?"
She pouts.
Look, if you're looking for other places, you could try the galley. That's the tavern down second deck. You could try. You could try maybe the little temple they set up for. God, what the hell is the name of that guy? I don't go down there myself. I don't really give a damn about the god here, but
My only god is ale, so I will be visiting the galley.
all right. And if you're good with carpentry, you could speak to the Carpenter Guild. They're always looking for extra hands. Just, if I were you, I'd watch out for Cedric.
And who is this Cedric?
He's kind of the head of the patrols, and he's kind of a dick. That's the best I can explain it.
I'll keep an eye out for this Cedric character then. Thank you for all of your, help. And she's gonna snatch up the oil, and she's gonna leave this guy.
And then Foley will step up.
We got a conga line going on. What can I do for you?
I would like a flint and steel, please.
Those are actually harder to come by. Let's see if I have any. Why is it not rolling? Oh, there it goes. Oh, you're in luck. He actually does have at least one set of flint and steel, but it is a little... He says it's a little expensive because it's something he doesn't get that often. So we'll be going at a higher price.
How much higher?
Well, usually it's like 2 copper. He's willing to part with it for 5 copper.
Yikes.
By the way, you all started with how much in silver? Did you actually write that down?
I rolled to a 2.
Yeah.
You have 2?
I have
Yes.
6, so
Okay.
I might be willing to front you some silver, but you'll have to ask me nicely.
Ask her nicely. You know who this is? This is the Grave Maker.
I may take that nickname just because, but you know what? Fire is very important in the wilderness. I will take that quote unquote deal.
Pleasure doing business with you, buddy. Don't see too many of your kin around here anymore.
Yes, it's too easy living down here. We don't like it.
Usually they're out to the west or the north. You still fighting all those like Saurians and orcs nearby, or no?
Yes. Out of character, that I'm assuming that is true.
You would know based off of your travels around here that there are a lot of like orc tribes or like orc bandit groups that have been raiding the place, and the Saurians refer to like these lizard folk that seem to be not just in the marshes but along the riverways.
And I figured the river might be how he got down here, so you would say, yeah. Swarming like rats.
Yeah, well, as long as they don't bother us here too much. We actually had a couple of Saurian traders here about a week ago.
Interesting. What did they have to sell?
That's the problem. They didn't really sell much. They just kind of came in, drank a little, tried to buy some items, and then leave. Kept talking about like a bunch of different things happening further west. I wasn't really paying attention to it. Overheard it while I was drinking in the galley.
I see. Well, thank you, sir.
And anything else I can do for you?
think that will be all for now. If I need anything else before I leave, I will come here.
Well, it sounds good. You have a good day.
You too, my friend.
Is it Theta's turn in the conga line?
Can I find a smith?
There is a smith. You have actually lower in the decks. They point you to that.
Does it look like he has chainmail?
That's a good question. Hold on. He does not have chainmail.
What about Green
No.
Helm?
He's got an okay helm.
Said great helm. He does have a great helm, yes. It's actually a very ornate looking great helm. But what's interesting about it is that the helm is currently mounted on a straw mannequin that is like pinned to the side of the wall.
Alright, I also don't try to find Maxima.
Alright,
Sorry,
then.
mouse. I tried to find mouse. Or
Yeah,
the
I mean-
mouse, depending.
Just mouse. And, we'll answer to either, so it's your call. But she probably hasn't gone far. What can she do for you?
Alright, I take out from my pack my spyglass. Say, hey, see if you can get this guy to trade that great helm for this spyglass.
Her eyes grow wide as they take in the glittery golden spyglass, and she will take it from you, and she's nodding. She's listening to. It seems like she's pretending to listen to you and not really hearing what you have to say.
I ruined your food. So bad. You don't even know the horrors you will inflict upon yourself if you try this.
Oh, fine. Okay. I'll see what I can do. She strolls back over with the spyglass. You there, merchant, once again. Hello.
It's
Please.
a different fellow this time. You see, Theta didn't describe anything about the shop. This is deeper in the decks of the ship, close to the bottom. Partitioned away on what you would assume is the drier side of the ship. The part that's actually land, stuck on the land a little bit. That's not be half floating in water. Because you see a lot of folks that are just doing quick carpentry and cutting down, getting strips of wood and leather to hold back little leaks on the right hand side. You're going close to I forget the fucking terminology. What is it? The stern is what side again?
Search me. I don't know anything about
Port
boats.
is left in...
Port is left. Starboard is right.
I'm sorry, starboard is left.
Starboard is right? I thought port was right.
No,
right.
no, I had it right for a second. Port's left,
Right.
starboard's right. Stern is aft. Wait.
Okay, so you're basically staying more on the port side of the ship, and you're going to the front, not where the bow is, where the head of the ship is.
Okay.
That's where they've set up this makeshift forge, and it is a very makeshift forge. You see what looks like a fire pit made out of steel, stone and steel, just set up on a platform that is on top of the wooden palisades of the deck itself. You notice that there is a metal tubing that shoots out and seems to be grafted onto the back of the ship. And you do see a weapon rack or two, and a few of weapons and of tools and other things. The fellow that's working it happens to be an orc.
Ah, okay. So I guess my first question too, is there anything that catches my eye here that would be considered of exceptional value or interest? Anything glittery, shiny, perhaps something that someone pawned that looks like it would be worth a lot of money?
You see this very ornate-looking great helm. that is on top of what looks like a straw dummy that is pinned to one of the pillars of the wall near the forge.
Got it. Maybe this is just because it's Theta. I'm picturing Magneto's helmet. I don't know why.
You know, I was thinking of Monty Python, Tim. Tim the
Ah! Well, wait, he had horns, didn't he?
Or he was wearing a helmet and he took it off later and you just never saw it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, cool. Okay, I guess that's what I was here for in the first place.
That looks to be the most expensive looking thing that is here.
Okay. Well, so she'll approach the orc. I think she has a general aversion to orcs, but she knows that, how to charm people and try to keep her disgust or disinterest at bay. So she puts on a big old smile and approaches him and says, hello there, big fella. Would you happen to be...
I don't work with children, he says, and he completely ignores you.
Oh, okay. Her expression clouds over. She clears her throat, tries again. Well, I'll have you know I'm not a child. I am a halfling, and I am actually quite a mature woman who has seen and done much in these here lands. So I would like to proffer a trade, a barter, if you wouldn't mind giving me a moment of your time.
The orc looks up at you. You notice with his eyes, you just see soot all over his face, and he says, looks down at you with his sort of greenish eyes as well. You just see soot all over his face. He flares his nostrils a little bit, and he says, "What do you want to buy?"
Well, that's more like it. Now we're talking. That there, quite fancy helmet, it's not for me, it's for a friend. Is it for sale?
No.
Okay, well, so far you're not doing a good job at the whole negotiating thing. Let me just show you what I have to offer. And with the flourish of a magician, she reveals this beautiful, one-of-a-kind sterling spyglass. I promise you have not seen its make in your lifetime. This is quite a steal, if I do say so myself. That old ratty helmet for this here. Elegant, designer spyglass. Worth easily double, I'm sure.
Do you let him pick up the spyglass?
Yeah.
He takes it in one hand, looks through one end to the other. Notices, how does the spyglass look? Does it look like it's polished? Does it look like it's ratty?
I mean, I guess that's up to vendor. I assume it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like a new spyglass. I barely ever use it.
He looks at it and he says, 1 gold.
And how much would the great helm there set me back?
Not for sale.
Now listen here. Everything's for sale. I'm just trying to get a feel. If this spyglass isn't enough, then perhaps something else would be more worthwhile.
Not interested in you.
I was. Ugh.
He gives you the spyglass back and goes back to his work.
Okay, now she's mad. What are the chances of stealing this helmet?
Oh.
Ooh.
I want to say impossible, but
I mean, maybe it's just impossible. I'm just saying. Wait, nothing's impossible. But does this mean it's just what's it gonna take to cause a distraction and make away with it? Do I have to burn the whole boat down? Because I probably wouldn't. But I'm just saying, nothing's impossible.
The issue is that if you take it, how are you going to replace it?
Well,
I don't
I
think
mean,
you
we'd be
understand what theft means.
yeah, we'd be burning bridges. I would take it, and then I would disappear, and then by the time I would suffer any consequences for my illegal actions, I would already be very far away with the really cool helmet. That is the strategy, I guess, the high-level thinking.
You'd need with the guy here, if you're gonna do a distraction, at least in like the daylight, like right now and whatnot, at least 2 successes.
Actually, let's
Okay.
say 1 success kind of came. One
For
success.
For everything.
Yeah. This is one of those 10 or better, powered by the apocalypse style. One
Oh,
success
God.
is a success.
Right? I'm trying to think back. Did we do any multi-success stuff in the other one?
I mean, I think there's probably manipulations to like -2 dice or that kind of thing. Like, technically, the Great Helm gives you -2 to scout, so technically there's dice manipulation in effect.
Right. There's pool size manipulation. I guess it could be contested, right? It could be the kind of thing where, like, if he's rolling a pool, because there are contested rolls where you're like looking for margins of success.
That's probably what we'll have to do then.
Okay. Well, before I do anything rash, I will return to Vendor, and she's just in a foul mood.
Dice with difficulty, difficulty. A formidable task, which is the difficulty the game gives you, is -3 dice.
So you're just losing dice then instead of anything else. Okay. What page is that on?
Well, it starts on 47, last paragraph, and then continues 48.
In Player's Handbook?
Yes, Player's Handbook.
Second. Okay, so this would be a hard test then, so it'd be a -2.
Okay, good to know. Well, so I guess the first thing I would do is return to Vendor with the spyglass and a gloomy expression and say, that big lunk over there, he's not interested in barter or buying for the helmet. He offered 1 gold for the spyglass. I don't know if that's what it's worth to you, but I do have half a mind to...
Cost.
What?
That's a third of its cost.
Right. Well, I have half a mind to nick the thing myself.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. And she'll cast a sideways glance over to Frawley, who she has become accustomed to checking in on from time to time whenever she's about to do things that are exceptionally risky and put the entire party in danger. She'll say, just so you know, Frawley, if this goes sideways, it could mean that our stay here at Worm's Fist gets much abbreviated. Is everyone's comfortable with that, though?
I mean, there's another day and a half of your
I love the logic of we can just go somewhere else because it's nearby.
I mean, we
Pick
can
up
technically.
next.
I mean, I'm also the guy who said, "Hey, let's build a stronghold." So technically, we can just go a couple of days or a day out of town and make a new home.
Sure, although all the carpenters seem to be bought up over here, so...
I'm a builder.
All right. Work with your hands. And with your mind. I'm going to try to nick this thing. Let's see what... I assume sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand will be the one to do it. It is with the -2 modification. I'm assuming that -2 goes on your... My god, I don't know how it would actually go on your sheet.
You would just take away 2 dice.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right, and they would be base. Usually when they're modified, it's the base dice, right? Because I think the difference between the dice is that skill dice cannot roll... Skill dice cannot roll or take damage. They can roll skulls, but you can't damage your skills. You can damage your attributes and stuff, right?
Skill has a -2 to it, though. -1 and -3.
Oh, interesting. That's a fair point. Oh, so maybe that is where you take it from.
I'm gonna check. Hold on. So there are cases where modifications are part of the rules. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. So help is also part of here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go into skill. You would just reduce the skill, and if you had 0 skill, you would go into negatives. You know what? Just as a quick test here.
Yeah. Just see what happens.
Let me animal handling, which I have nothing in, and then -2. Purple dice.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm guessing the successes on purple dice don't count.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
I don't know either. I don't know what purple dice mean.
All right, so
They cancel somehow?
all right, so here's what we'll do. It doesn't say in the book like what it is, so I'm just going to assume it's a -2 to your total dice roll.
Okay.
So I guess if it's the base or skill, whatever you have more of.
So I would make the argument that we would take from skill first, since your skill dice are the ones that can't penalize you for failure. So since this is a penalty, you'd want as many chances for bad things to happen. So what I would argue, so I've got 5 base, I've got 2 skill. If it's a 2-die penalty, I'll just roll 0 skill die.
All right.
Probably better than trying to figure out purple dice.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
I'll have to look into that later, I guess.
It's not in that paragraph of the book, so...
Okay, 1 skull. I would like to push my luck on this one, and I'll risk some agility damage, I suppose, but
All right.
I'm going to push. I'll roll 4 dice on this next one. Okay, that did not work.
Yeah, you didn't remove the
fuck.
You didn't remove the dice, so you still have to...
I removed it, but I removed it before I hit the push roll. What do you want to do?
Clear your dice pool and just press 4, and we'll go from there.
That was my bad, and I apologize. Okay, so it's still a failure, and I will take 1 willpower, and I will take 1 agility damage.
Mm-hmm. You try and creep back into like this forge area. You notice that the orc is busy doing something with looks like a bundle of like iron ore or something like that he's beginning to heat up near the forge. So his back is turned to you. You try to get on your tippy toes to grab the helmet, but you actually, sadly, you grasp it real quickly, but you unfortunately fall back as you do, and you tumble into another pillar on the ship, and you bump your head. The orc also turns around and notices you, and he says, "Don't touch anything."
I wasn't going to touch anything, you great big lunk. She's going to slink off, rubbing her injured head. And, yes, in quite a sour mood now.
That could have been a lot worse.
I was just thinking...
No, it could have been a lot worse. We could have been kicked, we could have been hunted, we could have been chased.
Nah, I was just thinking that Key and Peele sketch with the, you know, the thing of marbles. I just wonder what they feel like in my mouth.
I haven't seen that one, but it sounds pretty good.
The dude just keeps getting lured in by the marbles, shoving them in his mouth. Put the marbles down! I just wonder what they feel like. Reached up to touch the helmet. I just want to know what it feels like.
Exactly. Okay, well, 1 botched attempt at thievery later. What do we want to do? Are we going to look for work here?
What are you talking about? We're not here to work.
Are we here to provision? I mean, we need a quest. We don't have anywhere to go or anything to do yet, so...
Yeah, but I mean, don't propose that we stay around to work. Oh, the excitement that we all learn the trade of carpentry.
Never know, might be useful.
Although, could end up being crafting dice. I don't know. I don't remember how that works, how the leveling and study works.
I can only imagine the viewership as we spend the next 15 sessions tarring the side of the ship.
Could be good. I don't know.
Sir,
whatever.
can I just get some beers for my fellow men?
Okay, well then, I suppose it's time to find a mission. And the best place to find quests is taverns. So I'm gonna go to the tavern and drown my disappointment.
You go to the tavern they have, known as the Galley, and it's less of a tavern, more of just an open area with music being played by somebody on a fiddle, and a bunch of what look like barrels that are set up as tables with stools next to each other. There is a long set of barrels with what looks like a wooden plank or placard around it. And behind that are several bottles of what look like liquor and ale. The tavern keep is another fella, another human that's just cleaning a couple of glasses. And you notice, and Maxima, you notice this for the first time. This is so far the only place where you've seen other women in the entire ship thus far, and they are basically acting as barmaids.
Alright, well. That is a job that is hard for men to do gracefully, so I suppose... I don't know. She'll go ask around. It's time to ask around. She'll approach one of these women and say, pardon me, love, is there any honest, well, that's not the way to approach.
They're gonna say, you're here to use your hands and do carpentry?
No. These hands, they're too valuable to waste on hammers and nails. No. I was thinking more in the line of procurement, of rare and wonderful artifacts. Are there any rumors of lost treasure or forgotten, cities in this region?
What? Well, people talk.
Foley, gonna start in on the shots. Whiskey and keep it coming.
Shots.
So you see where all the hammocks are on the eastern or the southern part of the ship here on the starboard side?
Yes.
That's the tavern area.
Alright. Okay, then. How much will a pint set me back?
Oh, it'll just be 5 copper.
That feels like a lot, but maybe not. Maybe I just don't have that much money. Okay, 5 copper it is, and now that you're serving me my pint, what can you tell me?
Well, there's rumors all over the place. I mean, it depends. What are you looking for?
Buried treasure. Typically, well, let's say, unguarded by beasts or monsters, sitting out in the open where it can be easily pilfered.
Ooh.
Ideally, but, I understand that rarely is anything that straightforward.
Nothing is ever that straightforward, my dear. I mean, there's, well, I've heard about... those Rust brothers, right?
I've heard of them, but never met one personally face to face.
Yeah, sometimes they stop in here. They don't like the fact that we don't have a chapel to them. But supposedly, every once in a while when they come by, they're always asking people for something I've heard of. Something called the Chapel of Blood. Doesn't sound like a happy place, does it?
No, but you've piqued my interest. Please keep going.
I mean, it says supposedly it's a place where there's like a lot of like dead live there. You know, place where like magic controls it. And these Rust brothers are apparently looking for this place, you know. From what I understand, there's some sort of like magical artifact that they're after there. Some sort of helmet that I can't remember the name of it, unfortunately. At least that's what I've heard every once in a while.
And this bloody chapel, it's nearby, you've heard.
That's what the Rust brothers seem to think. I couldn't tell you which direction it is, unfortunately.
Do you know if any of these Rust brothers would be hanging about here on this here boat?
They come by every so often. I don't know if anybody specifically is staying or on the boat that is. You might want to ask. Honestly, your best bet would maybe be checking in with the chapel, because they always get accosted by them there. But, you know, just be careful, because they're not a big fans of the Rust brothers.
Ah, I see. All right then. Well, that is a good place to start. I thank her for her time.
Oh, no problem. By the way, just be careful if you run into Cedric.
I've heard about this Cedric character. What exactly is his function here on Worm's Fist?
Well, he's in charge of the guard watch, but he's kind of a jerk to certain people.
I've heard of that too, though not in exactly those words. It sounds like he's quite a jerk to a lot of folk here.
Especially certain people, and she looks at you. Up and down.
Oh, I see. I can't imagine I've met many other halflings on the boat so far.
You have not seen any, actually.
Righto. And the guy thought I was a kid. Okay, then. Well, I thank her again for all of her information and for giving me the heads up about Cedric.
Mm-hmm. What is Vendor and Froley doing at this point?
Froley's there in the bar attempting to get hammered.
Are you drinking with anybody?
Sorry, my headphone fell out. If it looks like there's a party going on anywhere, he's gonna join them and start doing shots.
Ooh. They're at the front of the bar. There actually is, I wouldn't say shots necessarily being done, but they are. You got a couple people drinking what looks like spiced whiskey.
All right, he'll approach and say, "Might I join you in a drink?"
Sure. Come on here. You just see like almost looks like Popeye the Sailor, honestly, like just like that long face, like very like muscular arms, type of stuff. And no, I cannot do his voice too well. That's like the best I can do. So yeah, you go up to, you saunter up and you start drinking with this guy, and he says,
Right.
I never seen a dog walk on two legs before.
We are known as Wolfkin. I come from the northern mountains.
That's why we don't get many of you guys around here. I'm actually surprised you even want to be in a place like this.
I have my reasons.
Oh, do you now?
I have rather made it a personal quest to find soft people and make them hard.
Whoa, phrasing!
I know, right? But that's what he would say because he
Soft
is
people?
innocent like that.
Like clay?
Like flabby.
Oh.
Not used to work.
Oh, well, you're in the wrong place for that. Almost everybody who lives here is used to work. Maybe a little too much, but you deal what you can.
Well, then I can take solace in their strength.
Oh, that's a good thing for you, mate. But you're not really going to find what you're looking for here. Maybe you're better off going elsewhere. Although, not going to say no to more drinks.
Of course not. And I would assume that a round for the table might end up costing a silver.
A whole round for the table? Yes.
All right. Doing that, getting a round for the table.
Cheers!
So if my time's not going to be spent making men out of babies, what else might I do here to exercise at my sword arm?
Well, I mean, if you're trying to not make men out of babies, you could practice your sword arm on nearby fellas.
Any particularly deserving wretches?
Well, there's raids every once in a while, but we got our own watch that takes care of them, you know? They probably have a stronghold or something nearby. I can't really say for sure. What's interesting is that most of them are orcs. So people thinking that orcs are trying to march again. It's probably all bullshit, though. They can't even tie their shoes straight.
Do their shoes even have laces?
That's a good question. Who knows? I will say this though: there's only a couple of orcs in the fist here that actually have residence, but they're the ones that actually do all the work. I honestly couldn't say for sure. If you're really looking to try and make people less soft, though, there is another town you can go to.
Where would that be?
Have you ever heard of the Haggler's House?
That just sounds so sedentary.
He kind of does this coughing laugh after a moment. He says, "Yeah, it's from what I hear, it's basically like this. It's almost like a gambling arena den or something like that, where people just fight constantly. Might be worth a place to go for your skills, necessarily. Who knows?"
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, problem though is that it is kind of further south from here. You're talking. I've been there once. Really kind of just following the coastline's probably your best bet. I couldn't tell you necessarily.
Yeah, a sour look crosses his face at the thought of going too much further south.
Yeah, it's God, you know the Margelda, which is right after the marshlands over here. It's like this open field plain area.
I assume he's been there, so he would nod.
You probably would not have been there, no.
Okay, thank you. Never mind. He shakes his head. No, I never heard of the place.
He says, well, what we usually do is we usually sail either when the river is not frozen or the ford is not frozen here. Usually sail across the rivers to a bunch of different lakes and things like that, but that's like riverway travel. The bigger ships, they tend to hug the coastlines for fishing and trade. There's a couple of cities around there. The haggler's house is slightly in Margelda, near the banks of a river. So that would be where I would go. I'd say, could be, if you're fast, maybe like a week's travel.
He nodded, a little brightening up as he does, because that doesn't sound too bad. He can make it there during one of his longer stints away.
Yeah, that could work.
So he presses J, brings up his quest map, and asks him to have the location marked.
Well, that's the problem. I don't really have like the exact location, but I can give you the exact around the area it would be.
That'll work. I think if I show up there, somebody will probably point me to the area forthwith.
See where I'm pinning?
Yeah, right under where it says Margelda.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there. If you want, you can make a note or whatever you want to do with that information.
I'll make a note on my character sheet.
Alrighty.
And how should I describe this area, I wonder?
Well, you'll know it when you see it. That much I can tell you.
I'll call it Fight Club.
You know it when you see it. It's a area where people fight. It's also, you gotta keep in mind, it's also a place where they have a massive temple. So it's also kind of like a little bit culty. But they definitely stay over there and they definitely just hang out.
I see it. Sounds like a fun place, even with the weirdos. That just makes it more interesting, doesn't it?
Well, that's one way of putting it. What about Vendor? What are you doing?
I've just been hanging out, waiting for Mouse to come back with a lead.
Does Mouse come back with the lead?
Kind of. Mouse comes back in seek of more information. She's definitely going to want to visit the chapel here on the boat, see if they have any information about where I might find one of these Rust brothers. Sort of like on a quest to find someone who might have a quest.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the regular folk don't seem to have too much info, unfortunately.
And to be fair, this is not the kind of stuff you would expect to be common knowledge, so I respect that as well. But as stated, these hands are not made for hard labor.
Do you head to the chapel?
I do.
Okay. Got like so many things open at the moment, I apologize. Let's get back on the ship map so you know where we're going. So the chapel is a story above. It is on the bow side of the ship. And it actually has its own separate door. And you see this symbol on the door and hanging. And can I actually click this? Yes, I can.
Where am I looking? Oh, okay, in the chat.
Yeah, did that come
Cool.
up?
Yes, it did. Interesting.
What skills would you have to maybe recognize that symbol?
Well, I would imagine there is some sort of lore skill. Let me see. I think I closed my character sheet. Yep, terrible. Okay. Alright. Lore is literally the skill. I have 3 dice in it, and no training.
Give it a shot.
Alrighty then. Nothing. But I could try, I could think real hard and maybe learn, and that would be more willpower points, and I feel like low risk. So I'm going to do it. I will push. This time I'll try to push correctly.
And we have 3 skulls.
Right? Exactly. Nope. I just don't know.
Yeah, you've never seen that before.
She scrunches up her face real good, thinks back really hard, and then eventually just shrugs and goes, and just strolls right in.
You go inside. You notice that there is a couple people in there. They have like what look like makeshift like wooden pews set up. At the front, there's a couple people kneeling, and they seem to be like meditating or praying. You see a couple others doing some work near the front of what looks like a wooden statue that is carved that into the shape of a giant serpent.
Ah, snake worshippers.
Interesting about the snake itself is that the snake is curled, and you see like the quick like elaboration of the snake. It's like almost like makes like this S symbol. Where
Oh yes, it seems to be reminiscent somewhat of this icon.
Yes, and the snake head, the tail is right up to the snake head, and you see the snake head looking like it is about to like grip onto the tail, almost like an Ouroboros.
Fantastic. Okay. Is there anybody here who seems like they are receiving strangers? Most religious sects have a social outreach program. Is there anybody here who's like would want to talk to somebody not of the order?
So you don't want to speak to any of the worshipper. You want to speak to the worshippers, not the priests.
Oh no, I'll speak to anybody. I'm just looking for someone who might want to speak to me too.
Oh yeah,
Looking for human resources and intake, basically, right?
you see a half elf woman come up to you, and she says, "Greetings, child. Have you come to pray to the altar of the worm today?"
That depends. First of all, not a child. I understand. Common misconception. Second of all, I actually am a little bit curious about this snake serpent that you are talking about here. I was wondering also, what exact... Well, let's start with the basics. So yes, your serpent. Tell me about him.
Oh, well, you don't know of the Congregation of the Serpent. Well, the story is simple. He is considered the true divine being of the Ravenlands here. It is said that the Raven is supposed to be divine by the Church of the Raven, but the story of the Raven carrying the snake, oh, it is the snake that is true divinity. The Raven is just the vessel of holiness.
Out of character, would I know?
You've heard some of this before.
Okay, and it seems that, like, so the Raven is definitely something that some other people worship. Is that, like, the de facto religion? Okay.
So there's multiple gods, but the 3 big ones are the Raven, Rust, and Haim, Heme. The Rust brothers claim both Rust and Haim, and they're kind of like the new kids on the block.
Gotcha.
And the Raven is what the entire Forbidden Lands was originally named after, the Ravenlands.
The Ravenlands makes sense.
This is all like stuff I guess everybody would know or possibly know, like backstory type things.
Yeah, that's fine.
So the raven's like the holy symbol. The bird itself is the god, and it brought the serpent here in terms of the story as it goes, to shepherd the races to what is considered a holy land. The serpent was used as like a symbol for that way, but now the worm here believes the opposite, that the raven is a holy creature, but not actually God. The God is the serpent itself. So the raven's like Jesus in this version, whereas the ravens would look at as the raven as would look at the serpent as Jesus, if that makes any sense.
Right, they're both picking from the same mythology, but they're focusing on different aspects of it to differentiate.
Yeah.
We've seen it before. All right.
So
I don't think Maxima puts much stake in gods, be they ravens or serpents, but she can read a room, so she'll just nod along eagerly and say, "Oh yes, no, I have well, this sounds quite fascinating."
Yes, it is always good to see others to join us. Our chapel here has been here for almost 50 years now.
Oh, wow. Well, not here. I mean, this ship likely isn't that old.
Oh, the ship has been here much longer, yes.
Oh, wow. Well, that's some fine construction then.
When you live on the worm's fist, you must realize that we must do everything in our powers to keep it the way it is. Materials are unfortunately difficult to come by, especially during the time of the blood mist, but we may do the best we can.
Well, it is quite a nice ship, she says, belying the fact that she knows very little to nothing about ships, boats, any nautical subject. So she'll kind of steer the conversation to her real purpose here and say, now, I can't imagine those Rust brothers take too kindly to your, altar here. You haven't crossed paths with any of them on the Worm Fist, have you?
Those heretics.
Indeed.
They attack our sisters in arms, our brothers in arms, many a time. Maybe not as harshly as those who follow the Raven itself, but still, every so often they come here to spout their poison to our people.
It's true, and it's difficult for one such as myself, who tries to steer clear and avoid those heretical forces that might lead one astray. Tell me, you wouldn't happen to know where these Rust brothers hail from?
Oh, I couldn't say for sure. We usually ignore them or tell them to be on their way. They seem to be looking for something because they've been coming here frequently within the past couple of months, to be honest.
Oh, what would it be that they would search?
Well, I've overheard them talk about this chapel they search for. Called the Chapel of Blood, it's been nicknamed. Not always the best name for a place, but I guess if you're trying to keep people out, that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah, she'll feign a look of deep interest. I guess it's not really that faint. She is interested in it, but she'll adopt a mantle of innocence and say, "Oh, that does sound quite horrible. You wouldn't happen to know where it is, such that I might avoid it. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near a place with such a frightful name."
Well, I don't know necessarily where it is. I don't know where it necessarily is, but I can say that the Rust brothers themselves seem to always come here looking for information. They then tend to go out to the west from where we are. West, southwest.
Ah, luckily, my travels take me far from that direction. I thank you, sister.
I will say this, it's probably easy to find if you know where to look, but I guess that's the problem. They don't.
Well, a pox on them, is what I say. I just remembered that I'm owed some money back in the galley. So perhaps we can continue this conversation another day.
Oh, certainly, my dear. Please, we will be having our services tomorrow morning. Please, we would love to see you join our congregation there.
Oh, I will do everything in my power to attend. And then she will briskly beat it and head back to the galley, find the rest of the party, say, okay, there's not much. Rumors are the Rust Brothers are searching for some sort of a chapel of some description to the west of here. The Rust Brothers seem to hail from that direction. They're looking for it. They don't know where it is. Although it is supposed to have some sort of fancy helmet of certain nondescript powers. It's the closest thing we have to a lead as any, so if it's all the same to you all, I don't think I want to spend much more time here. The people are, I don't know.
Stupid.
Hard-working, penitent, boring, I think, ultimately, so...
Stupid.
Yeah, a harsh way to put it, but ultimately, I think that we could be better served elsewhere. I, for one, am itching to get on the road.
As you say that, you hear somebody shout, "Yo, you there!"
Froley, I think they're speaking to you.
Furley will turn his head and see where that noise came from.
You see a man that seems to be wearing some sort of studded leather armor that is covering most of his body. He's pretty thick, pretty muscular. Looks like he's seen a fight or two. He also is wearing a leather skull cap. You notice there's a symbol on the armor. It looks like a boat on it, which I guess with the motif of the ship makes sense. He says, "Not speaking to you, kin. Talking to her. What are you doing on my ship?"
Drinking.
Are you sure that's all you're doing, lass?
She'll look at the mug and she'll look back at him and she says, "Oh, let me guess, you must be the brave and honorable Cedric I've heard so much about. Captain of the guard here on the Worm's Fist, is that correct?"
Aye, that is correct.
Well, now, I am, you certainly do live up to your grand reputation. Honestly, my companions and I were just about to take our leave of this fine town, if you don't mind.
Were you involved in something that happened, a few hours ago in the front of the ship?
You'll have to be more specific. We've been all over this vessel.
Lorak told me that you were snooping around his shop.
If by snooping you mean proposing a fair and, if I might say so, quite generous barter, then yes. However, the big lunk did not accept, and so I took my leave. Why? Is he claiming otherwise?
He says he thought he caught you trying to steal something. Is there any truth to that? I will give you a chance to confess.
No, and I thought that he looked as bad as he smelled, but thoughts are not grounds for for legal action. So if thinking is all that he has on me, then I think I will say good day. Come, boys, let's get out of here.
He sizes up the other two, and he says, "Are you both with her?"
Yes, I am.
He thinks for a moment, and he says, "What are you in town for, anyway? Just passing through?"
Seeking
Indeed.
heroic deeds to do.
Very well, I won't bother you any further. Please be on your way. Thank you. He does not look happy, but it looks like he's currently sizing up all three of you at the moment. In particular, he seems most interested in Frawley, mostly because of the fact that he's fucking huge. And
Huge.
And Vendor, he also seems curious about because he basically seen this old-looking elf this Rasputin-looking elf, and, half-elf, that, he gets a bad vibe off of, let's put it that way. And you can tell he really doesn't like you, Maxima.
Yeah, I got that. But that's okay, because he's got nothing on me. So, suck a dick.
For now.
For now. Well. We shall see, I suppose. Cedric lives up to his reputation, but Cedric, sorry.
It's alright.
Cedric the Entertainer. So, we're gonna I propose we head west and get out of here. It's too cold and too damp.
Towards where?
Towards, I would just say in search of these Rust Brothers. Again, it's the best thing we got at
there's
the
a
moment.
road out of town that hits west.
Yeah, so
It splits off towards two other villages.
I'm into that. I don't have the map up, but I'll trust you.
Hold on.
Trust me in my ability to switch maps on my own.
Right, so this road that seems to go along the Blush marshes to the west.
And assuming that those plains...
Those are plains,
We
yes.
should be able to travel 4 hexes in a day? Without
I'm assuming...
not accounting for problems.
I am assuming that you arrived in Worm's Fist early morning, and you're leaving at midday, so it would be 2 more hexes.
This is why I really wish you hadn't deleted that one token. That one token was a rollable token with shiftable.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It should still exist. Hold on.
If it still exists, I guess we could put it back up.
I just gotta go through the thing. Time of day. There it is. Token. There we are. Because that way you can shift it to the 4 quarters of the day. That's why it made for such a good...
How do I shift it?
Let's see. Right-click, multi-sided, choose side.
Oh, I see. So when you're leaving, you spent all of morning and midday, I'd say, in Worm's Fist.
That sounds about right.
So, if you go out here, it will be the next quarter, which would be evening. I believe that's what it's called.
Cool.
And where did you get the pin things? Because I would like to do that to mark territory as well.
Yeah, unfortunately I deleted those myself, but I think I can get them from another map.
Mm.
Copy. Yep, there we go. Just need to get rid of the information on it.
Take care of it.
Although technically we haven't explored it yet, because now we have to make the necessitate rolls.
Of course. We'll at least get a couple of these in, and then I guess we'll call it for the day.
So,
Sure.
Because I'll be honest, we actually did we did a lot more than I thought we would.
Yeah, I appreciate you running on fumes without a lot of time to prep. So, but we did get some role play in. We got some rolls and dice.
would say that I should probably go back to my old habit of leading the way.
I think that you're probably in the best position. I've got a 3 to survival and I've got a 3 to scouting. How's Frawley looking?
4 to survival and 2 to scouting.
Well, you know what? You lead the way then, and I'll scout because I'm 7 on scouting and 7 on survival. So it seems like the
Nice.
lowest number between you two. So you go ahead and roll your survival for leading the way, and I'll roll scouting for keeping the watch or whatever. So either you want to push or you want to fail.
I would receive no damage for pushing, right? I don't think so.
Well, there's still a risk that you can roll skulls, and any
Right.
newly rolled skulls would damage you.
Well, as it stands, no damage.
But as it stands, no damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So nothing I need to, no dice I need to
Right.
delete. So here we go.
Yep, just the 4.
So he
Shoot.
failed. This is a mishap. And thankfully, the mishaps are already in there.
Are they still there? Okay.
Yeah, they're still there. We can get rid of anything. Leading the way. Just, click the button.
Well, you, apparently you were walking in a circle, and you did not make any progress. Pathfinder must also roll survival now successfully to find your way out of the hexagon.
That's you again.
Right.
Well, this is a new quarter, so
Right, but we're lost. So
Yeah.
the idea being that we can't move anywhere until you pass the roll.
Shit, I'm gonna push again.
go ahead.
Did I get a willpower for the last
No,
push? or
you don't only get willpower when you take damage.
Only if you take damage, you get
My
that.
problem
yeah.
here is that I'm only rolling on things I can get successes on.
There you go.
I need willpower to do my magic, so
Well, you're able to get your bearings. You get caught up because, although there is a small token roadway around the banks of the river, it is so close to the marshlands. It is very easy to get lost within bits of the bog as it kind of creeps up onto the plains area there. But you are able to get your bearings, and you are able to get through the hex. I gotta check something, because I believe I can throw in random shit too, right?
well, what happens is that you roll every time we move. Not if I fail. Like my roll was the scouting roll.
Okay.
You don't roll when I fail. You roll all the time, or when you determine that a roll should be made.
Alright.
Because the scouting roll doesn't mean we evaded anything that happens. The scouting roll means you tell us if we see it coming.
That's what I thought. So I'm gonna let it go for the first time here, just to give you that hex.
Yeah, that chart that I was talking about, that's like Betrayal and House on the Hill. That's the chart you roll on. And I believe high numbers indicate things.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got that chart ready to go.
So yeah, instead of being able to cross 2 hexes in a quarter a day, we got lost, and it took us
1. So it is now basically dark time. You're stuck in that hex. What you gonna do?
Make camp, right? Pressed up.
Sure.
Right.
I think I'll probably make the camp if you don't mind, seeing as what our path leader has just put us through.
All right.
Fine by me. While he makes camp, I don't know. Should I hunt?
Why? Oh, you have cooking.
We have food, but there's no reason. I mean,
Well, there is the one reason, and I believe that you're the cause of that. Why we know there's that one reason.
well, okay, that's true. It could be bad food, but well, it's up to you guys. We don't have to. I'll just kick back.
Also, I think there's a negative modifier for doing this at night.
There is, if I remember correctly, it's like -2.
I can't remember. I'm just thinking that now is probably not the best time to be doing it either. Also, we're not in a bad thing yet.
Okay, so successfully made camp. So we will spend the night snoozing.
Hold on, I'm pulling up a certain thing real quick. I apologize. Yeah, that's what I needed. Okay. Negative, because you're in plains, it's a -1 for foraging. In general, +1 for hunting, if that matters. And that's not including the quarters of the day. So you rest for the evening. You wait. It's now morning.
What skill is used for hunting?
That'd be survival.
All right.
You also have to have a ranged weapon, I believe.
What skill is used for ranged weapons? I don't know this one. Marksmanship, there it is. Where I wasn't looking.
It is now bright and early, and you have, you see the rays of the sun. It is a bit chilly in the morning here, by the way. It is winter time at this point, and some of the ground is frosted over. Even though you kept the fire going to keep yourselves up, toasty at night, you're still feeling like the grasp of winter here and there.
Gravemaker, I feel like maybe we should switch our roles around. You are shittier at scouting, but you are also the warrior. So who's gonna take up the problem of a bad scout, right? You. At the
Right.
same time, I'm pretty good at pathfinding. And who pays the price for all of us getting stuck out here in the wilderness for days on end? All of us.
All right. So you want me to
You scout, I'll
roll
pathfind.
my 2 dice to scout? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can scout with 3 dice if you'd rather we do that.
Yes, please.
Whichever.
Okay.
And which space are you going to?
The next one.
Along the road, southwest.
All right, southwest. Ooh.
Ooh, what? I passed. Skulls don't mean anything.
I was like, no, I saw the skulls. I was like, oh, that's going to be great. And then I saw the things.
Well, again,
Um,
I believe... Again, I don't want to do the thing where you I hate doing that thing where you bring up, my past GM. I don't want to do that thing, but it's our first experience with the game, so that's all I can do. Is my experience with Forgotlands. Was that, according to both the book and what Dan's interpretation of it was that you roll on encounters every hex, except for hexes that already have a pre-built encounter in them. Because we were having discussions about, do you keep rolling? What happens if you hit the same encounter twice? Would we encounter a little girl stuck in quicksand twice?
You never know.
Yeah, that's basically the thing. Because again, scouting doesn't mean that we don't encounter anything. It means that we see it coming, if it is something. Also, the encounter table does have a nothing happens field to it, so... That's why when we were crossing to Weatherspoons that one time, we got almost all the way there one time, and he was rolling every time. Just nothing happened. And then, the next time we went down, we got hit something every time along the way.
Okay, I'm going to roll then. How do you do the secret roll again?
No clue.
I think if you want to use the macro, if you go to the dice roller in the tool window, the top left of that, there's a GM.
I forgot he had all these. Yeah.
I think you can also roll /GM. Maybe. Nothing happens. Sheet. So boring. So that one was visible.
On the character sheet, there is a tab for character stronghold, monster, and options, which looks like an ear. You can make each character sheet whisper.
That's good.
But if you're just rolling, then it's just /GM roll or GMR.
What the fuck am I doing wrong here?
Using the internet.
Oh, I see the problem. I'm an idiot.
I don't know. That kind of seems like the one you'd want to have whispered. Sorry, I just heard someone shouting my name from inside the house when I'm doing one here. So I was like, oh shit, I better go out there.
I can't roll anything right now. What the fuck's going on?
I don't know. It seems to work for me. I don't know. Me and Dan had a big not a big back. We had a back and forth about which roles should probably be out in the open and which ones shouldn't be.
All right, now the regular D20 works. Okay, that's strange. But it's not recognizing GMR because that's not a thing apparently.
You can whisper yourself, right?
No, I didn't. Why would I do that?
You can whisper yourself, right?
I don't know.
That's the moment where you try instead of telling me I don't know.
I'm an idiot. How do you whisper?
/W and then type the name of the person you're whispering, or GM if you're the GM. Now, obviously, I can see that because I'm in the GM mode right now. I can remove myself from that. But other people can't see that. You're whispering to yourself, which is basically the equivalent of an invisible role.
It's not working.
I'm sorry, that was Arcloid doing it. What do you mean it's not working? Hold on. I don't know. I can whisper myself.
It's not I can't whisper. I can whisper myself, but
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Whisper yourself.
It's not doing the roll. That's the problem. I'm so confused.
Worked for me. I whispered myself and rolled.
It keeps saying there was an error with your formula. Please try again.
Just whisper yourself a normal roll.
There's an error with your formula. Please try again. Oh, you see the D20, right?
Right.
When I whisper myself, I roll the same thing.
Well, stop /rolling. Just do a bracket. I don't know why people even use /roll. It's so horrible.
What's the bracket? Oh, I
double
guess
square brackets open, die code, double square brackets close.
All right, that works apparently. I have to do the double square brackets for this.
That one's news to me,
brackets
but then I don't know much about this.
Well, you use it, right? I use it all the time. We use it all the time in Ironclaw.
I actually use /roll.
Yeah, but you've seen my results. You never question why all my results are just a number. And Arcloid uses it too.
Got it, so that's the double bracket thing. Okay.
That lets you put text between your rolls so I can label where all my dice come from if I need to.
It's also just cleaner.
Yeah. Takes up all the space.
I'm gonna have to remember that. So
If you can mouse over and it tells you, oh, that comes with a D20.
I typed that for myself. All right. Okay, so we figured that out. Nothing happens, by the way, on this space because I did roll that. So you're good. It is now midday. Do you want to just end here or keep going?
We can end here. I think we got enough stuff done for one mini session.
Give you more time to plan for the rest of our travels.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if we do roll something interesting, then it'll just be like, oh, I guess we'll start with this encounter next time anyway. Like, do we have time to roll an encounter and then resolve it? Maybe not.
Well, the problem's not the problem. The thing is that not all encounter combat. Like the little girl thing.
That's true.
Sure, yeah.
Which is mostly wise to run away from always. Always
So-
run away from children.
So I guess we'll run down the experience tracker and how experience works and all that real quick. It's more or less the same exact thing as before. But so it's really just if you could reply yes to any of these, you will get 1 XP for the session. Are you ready?
Hold on, I'm
Ready.
opening up my XP tracking sheet.
Roger that. And then after we go through this, I'll just ask my general notes and questions and things like that.
Works for me.
Roger that. So, let me know when you're good, Arclade.
I'm almost there. I'm sorry. I'm just deleting the old. For some reason, Windows text file maker notepad does not let you use too many alt codes. Otherwise, it starts mixing them up. So I'm just doing a lot of deleting so I don't have to type them all in again.
That's fine.
I'll leave those because I know I've accomplished those, so let's go.
Ready?
Yes.
All right, number 1, and I'm assuming everybody did this. You all participated in the game session today, yes?
Of course.
Aye.
Okay, so 1 XP for that. Travel to at least 1 hex on the game map that you have not visited before. That is a yes. So that's a 2nd XP. Did you discover a new adventure site? Are we counting the Worm's Fist as an adventure site?
I would count that as like a town. I feel like that's a distinct thing.
I mean, we did last time. I don't know.
Towns are considered adventure sites.
Okay, then sure.
That
I
was
guess
a
it is.
distinction, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess maybe that's a freebie for this week, but if you don't find anything next week, it is what it is. Did you defeat 1 or more monsters or creatures?
Nay.
That is a 0, then.
We defeated the monster of racism. We didn't, though.
I'm assuming 5 and 6 also... 5 and 6 didn't happen. Did you find any treasure? 1 gold or more? Or did you build a function in your stronghold? Both of those are 0s.
I mean, I got nothing for the rest of them, so...
Okay. Did you activate your pride? Let's ask that for the whole group. I don't think anybody did.
Nope. We would know, because activating pride literally means rolling a different die. No, we didn't do that.
Did anybody suffer from their dark secret?
I might have. It's up to you guys, but my dark secret is feeling a need to steal valuables. I felt that need, I acted on it, and I took some agility damage in the process. If that counts, I don't know. It's up to you.
Mechanically, I would think... Well... In most generous terms, yes. I would say yes.
Yeah, it counts.
No explanation. I would just say yes.
I would say it counts as well.
And my character's
Right.
dark secret is he is a drinker because he wants to try to wipe away the pain.
But did you suffer from it?
Technically, no. We sobered up before we went out, so no.
Yeah, that one I'm gonna say no, because drinking's easy. Drinking for a reason is much more difficult.
I didn't have quite enough money to drink for a cause.
Did anybody risk their life for another player character? I'm gonna say no on that.
I'd
maybe?
say, what's the halfling's name again?
Mouse or Maxima.
Maxima. Mouse risked her life trying to steal that helmet for,
No, at that point she was trying to steal it for herself. And she just literally explained it as her dark secret thing. So
Okay.
I do appreciate it, but I also don't know if our lives were at risk for that one.
Not necessarily.
Maybe
no.
they were.
I mean, worst case scenario, they'll throw you in a brig and then torture you. But we'll see.
but again, you were doing it for yourself at that point.
Yeah, I think once my dark secret is involved or whatever, then yeah, it's probably myself. What's next?
The last one. Did you perform an extraordinary action of some kind? Again, I would argue no, mostly because it was the attempt for stealing did fail.
Yeah.
And it was kind of mundane. If you passed it, then I probably might give it to you.
Okay, good to know.
But otherwise, nothing else I would say fits that. So everybody should write down your totals. At the very least, you all should have at least 3. I think I think you're the only one that has 4.
Yeah.
Maxima.
Yep.
All right. Second, a little other add-on to this. Thoughts on the session overall. I know we spent like the first 2.5 hours doing like the character gen, creating that stuff, and basically rebooting. Any thoughts, feedback, or anything that you can think of?
Well, I'm interested enough in the system that I want to start to really learn it, which is why I'm asking questions and starting to get. I'm asking questions that I think I know the answers to, just so I know I'm right. I'm at that point with this now, so I'm liking this a lot better than I liked Lancer, which after a while and realizing I couldn't progress in that system with my mentality and my intelligence level, I just kind of gave up on it. So
Gotcha.
I'm interested in this game, and I'm interested in seeing what happens as we all learn the system. Because it's obvious we're all still learning, and some of us know it better than others, which is awesome. It helps us all out. So I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, and I will second that. I'm glad we're still playing. I'm glad. I'm excited to play these new characters. I'm happy to have more investment in this one than I did in my last character, so that makes it more exciting for me. Sorry to lose you, Rob, as a party member, but I appreciate.
That's fine.
But yeah, I do appreciate you filling the role, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I want to explore more stuff. We did get to do a couple things. I also missed a few of the sessions in our last one too. But I do think that there's. I kind of like how rigid the structure of this system of Forbidden Land seems to be. But yet within that structure, it seems like there's room for interesting, dramatic situations also. And I feel like you're going to take advantage of that. So I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff as well. Like, I'm glad that in this little area, which admittedly you were coming up with, with very little warning and everything, but it's fun to get characters and to have role play and to learn a little bit about the world and the characters through that as well. So yeah, well done. Well done for like a 0.5, a 0.5 session.
Thank you. I'll be honest, like a lot of I'm still going through a lot of prep. I'm still trying to read up on a little bit on the rules to make sure it's all correct. especially combat rules, because I didn't really encounter that, and I missed it when we played it, which is something that I will probably need to know very soon, because who knows what you're going to face. I also apologize if it seems like it's vague in terms of directions of where to go and whatnot. That's mostly on purpose, but also at the same time, I'm still trying to figure out like where to place things, if that makes any sense.
I think the reason why I keep pulling all of this, well, Dan said this and Dan said that, is because behind the scenes I was talking a lot with Dan about rules and rules questions and things like that. So when I keep pointing to Dan, it's like, it's not so much well, the previous GM always did this, because I hate that. I hate sounding like I sound like that. But it's more like, we talked about it for a while, and this is the conclusion we came up to about how this rule worked. Or, this is how this is supposed to work. Because, obviously.
Yeah. And, like, if there was anything that is missing from this, I think right now it is a strong direction. It is a quest, at least one, right, to head towards. But again, I think that's really tricky to do spur of the moment with like literally nothing prepped. You don't know your characters, and you're kind of like coming up with it on the spot. So I don't blame you for that. This is more of a meta a meta system thing. And some RPGs definitely expect you to start playing with like zero preparation, and it's a lot of like, oh yeah, you make things up on the fly. But I feel like maybe on some level of system mastery, this game expects you to do something similar, but there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of frameworks and tables and stuff that they expect you to rely on. And even though we've played this for multiple weeks now, I think it's important to keep in mind that we still are rank newbies with this particular system. I mean, maybe me more than some, because I really only engage with it when we're playing, not so much outside of the game. But still, like you said, we only really had one combat in the last arc that we played, and that was like 4 or 5 sessions. We did some exploration, we did some wilderness stuff, but there's still areas of the game that were either some of us haven't experienced at all, or we've experienced very little of, so there's still a lot to learn. So don't beat yourself up, because we're all still learning this one.
The benefit, though, is that we have 3 different handouts that quick explain most of the rules to us. Plus a bunch of the tables we have pre-programmed into the Roll20 for us ahead of time.
That is handy, too. Yeah.
I gotta remember that those tables are there, because
That's the entire reason why we kept using this one. It's like a lot, an almost indescribable amount of pre-prep work has already been done by Dan ahead of time. Let's
put it this way, I don't know how to do macros, so good on him for doing them.
That's what I said. I'm good for backing you up the same way I did Dan, in that, hey, I've been doing all this reading, and hey, I know how Roll20 works. I'm your booster seat GM on the side.
I'll take it.
I can't promise anything, but I can ask around to some of my other gaming groups. There's some people who might be interested in this style of game, and if they could make the timing work, would you guys want me to invite them?
I mean, I'm open for it still being an open slot if we want anybody to come in. That's up to everybody else, though, as well. So, but I'm fine with it.
I mean, I might have somebody.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, I'll hold off then.
I mean, to be fair, I couldn't find somebody before because I had 2 days' notice.
Okay, cool. Then I'll let you take point on it. But if you come up empty and we still want another player, let me know, and I'll ask around on my end.
That other person just comes back at me and says no after showing a little bit of interest, and I'll say, yeah, hey, Red.
Cool. Okay, sounds good.
All right, then that's all I have for this. So thank you so much for popping in, everybody, and getting us back into the groove of things. Just a reminder that check out all my stuff on techraptor.net, as well as my stream, twitch.tv/partygoblins. Got to plug it somewhere. Anybody else have anything to plug?
You come check out our Ironclaw game. I'm running that one on Wednesday mornings at the same time slot. So, yeah, come see that.
And I guess stay tuned for later today. We're doing Shadowrun, so that should be fun. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
Thanks
Bye.
for running. Thanks for playing, guys.
Have a good night. Good night. Wow. I need
Good day.
have a good day. I need sleep. Good night.